Quick disclaimer before this video begins. This is not a video about having fun. This video will not tell you how to have fun playing Hearthstone. Tying your rank to having fun isn't a good idea. I wouldn't recommend it. This video is about grinding, getting those high ranks, not having a fun time. So without further ado, let's get into it. I want to reach legend in Hearthstones, I hear you ask. Well, you've come to the right place. These are going to be 5 of the best tips and tricks, the strategies, the know-how on how to reach legend at Hearthstones and improve your overall game. These strategies are going to be easy to do, free, and just overall instantly improve your game plan, just keeping these in mind. So without further ado, let's get into number 1. My first tip is going to be that the deck is fun, easy to use, and is the right deck for you. Now, finding the right deck for you is about looking at what class you want to play for a start, then going on to HS Replay and finding a deck with a high win-loss percentage. Now, what's very important to also consider is the time to win / time to lose, the average game length of that deck. Is time plays a very important factor, but that's another hot tip we'll be getting into later. But what I'm trying to say here is that you want to be playing a deck that you find fun and enjoyable and comfortable with and is very easy to use, because then you'll want to queue up more games, play more games, have a better time, be in a better mental headspace, and overall it's just going to make that climb a lot easier for you. Alright, so I'm actually going to show you how I personally search up decks that I want to play to help me reach legend each month. Now, what you want to do is you want to go to HughGotPlayed.live and you want to log in, sign in, upload your collection, and then go to decks. And here you'll get a list of popular, powerful decks that other people have created in order to hit legend. Now, what you want to look at is first the cost, whether it's buildable or not, because a lot of us might not have a full collection, including myself. And what I find is you don't really want to be disenchanting or crafting a lot of cards to build one deck, you know. So you want to look for something that's cheap, and then also something with a high win rate. Win rate is going to be what decides how often it wins. The number of games played here is pretty irrelevant. That just shows how popular it is. And then this duration is very relevant, very important. You want to make sure that if you're trying to reach legend as quickly as possible and effectively as possible, you want to have a low duration. So then you also, once you found that, you can just go in and look for what's fun. So right here, Treant Druid. This is a very good deck right now, especially for beginning players just looking to climb quickly. All rare and common cards, very cheap to make, very quick games, very powerful. So that's what I would recommend if you're trying to find the right deck for you. The next tip is, once you've found this deck, you want to keep playing this deck. I cannot stress to you enough how important it is that you play one deck over and over again. Now, that's why it's so important that you find something that's very fun, comfortable, and easy to use, because you want something that you're going to be happy playing over and over again. A lot of people, they tend to switch decks a lot, and that's a great way to have fun. That is a great way to have fun. But if you're purely looking for reaching legend, grinding the game, getting to those high ranks, you're going to want to play the same deck over and over again, because then you will become a master at that deck. You'll know all the ins and outs, what the win rate feels like for each matchup, you know, whether you can have a shot at playing or whether it's just a time to concede and move on to the next game. Because it's important that you're able to play as many games as possible. So you need to find the right deck for you and then play that until you become a master at it. Keep grinding at it. Each loss is another potential to learn more about the deck and what it's capable of. See, like back to that example of Treant Druid earlier, Treant Druid, often if I haven't won by about turn 9, 10, I'm probably going to concede unless it's like really close. I just need a bit of burst damage, because I'm not looking like that's when their deck becomes the most powerful. And my deck doesn't really have a lot of strategies for the late game. So that is what you want to take into consideration. Really get to learn the ins and outs of your deck. Just thought I'd take a quick break here to remind you guys, if you're enjoying the video so far, like, subscribe would help out the channel a lot. So please, any little like and subscribe helps out a heap. Anyway, back onto it. Now, this next tip is a very important tip, which I feel like not a lot of players understand, and that is time equals rank. And that's to say that even if you're the worst player imaginable, right? You're terrible at the game, you hardly have an understanding, but you pick the right deck and you stay to it, and it has a high win-loss and a short duration, then over time, because of the win-loss rate, you will just eventually gain ranks. So the more time you can commit to a deck to playing, the higher rank you're going to get. Now, this isn't often an ideal strat for everyone, you know, but it's just a fundamental understanding that the more games you can put in, the higher rank you're going to achieve. Legend players aren't necessarily better. They just have more time to put into the game, realistically. It's really the top 1% of players that are so good at the game that they are winning every single game. They can take a bad deck and win with it as much as they like. But for general tips and strategies, the more time you can put into playing, the better rank you're going to achieve. So this means picking a deck with a short duration, something where you can win and lose very quickly, and the games are decided very quickly, is gonna help you climb those ranks quickly. You know, for those people playing control decks, which are very fun, I will not lie. Yeah, I do like to play the control archetype, but for every 15 minutes they're playing, they might play one game. For people playing those aggro decks, for every 15 minutes you're playing, you've played 3 games. And just based off simple maths, right? You're going to have won more likely than they have. Get a deck that's going to get you as many wins as possible in a short amount of time. That is a very important tip. Now we move on to a more gameplay focused tip. So now that you found a deck that you're comfortable with, that you have fun playing, and you know you're sticking to it, you're playing lots of games, you're investing a lot of time, you know, you're winning 20 times in an hour, you're winning / losing, you know, with a 60% win rate, say you're winning, you know, 12 times in an hour out of 20 games. Now it's time to maximize those wins by making the correct plays and trading effectively. So this means if you're queuing up with an aggro deck, you want to make the plays that are maximizing damage to the hero, potentially ignoring the minions on board more often, you know, finding what your deck aims to do and doing it well. You know, with a deck like 300, you're aiming to get a lot of minions on board, you're aiming to push a lot of face damage as soon as possible and create a sticky board. So find that with your deck, find your game plan, you know, keep it in the back of your mind, and then make the correct plays accordingly. This will help you maximize your wins on those games where it's like a 50-50 chance on whether you're going to win or lose. Yeah, there is the whole thing of just draw better. Yeah. But you've got to make the plays, the best plays with the resource you have. Use your time effectively when you start a turn and look and think to yourself, what is the best play here? What is going to maximize my chances of winning? Because it's easy just to play on curve, you know, forget about the rest of the game. But then you might have two different 2-drop minions on turn 2. This could decide the game. Whether you play the 2-mana 2/1 and, you know, then they use their removal spell that deals 3 damage, and then next turn you play a 2-mana 2/3 and they can't deal with that. You know, they might have a 1/1 left on board from their first turn, but it's just not effective anymore. So you just got to think about what the opponent's game plan is and how it impacts your game plan and make the correct plays accordingly. But this is something that very much comes with time, comes with mastering that deck again and making sure that you are the best Hearthstone player you can possibly be. You want to make sure that every play you're making is the correct play and maximizes your chance of winning. You know, whether you take the high risk, high reward play, or whether it's just a likely game that you're going to win and you just take the easy route, the simple, stick to your game plan kind of thing, or whether it's worth it to potentially overdraw a card next turn, but have a whole handful of resources this turn. It's really what you make it, and you've got to be able to think on the fly. The final tip I have for you is that Hearthstone is a very mental game. You want to be able to keep your mental in check, feel good, have fun, and that will lead to higher wins. Now, don't ask me to explain how this works, but the more positive you are feeling, the better you are going to do. You're going to be feeling better about your plays, maybe take a few more riskier ones that pay off a bit better, and overall just have a better time on your climb, want to climb more, and invest more time into the game. Now, on the flip side, you got to look at this as if you're having a bad mental, you're probably going to be losing more. You're not going to be feeling it, more likely to make incorrect plays and just be overall negative about the game. And this is going to make your climb miserable. So I would very much recommend that if you're having, you know, a difficult time winning, going through a bit of a losing streak, close the game. Close the game. Close the game, take a breather, go do something fun, you know? Go have a fun time, and then come back with a better mental. Come back being like, all right, I had a few losses, I had a few hiccups, a few whoopsies potentially, but now I'm back and I'm better than ever, you know? It's really a strong mental game. Your opponent, who's just getting lucky all the time, he's just having a fun time, you know? He's just having a lovely old time, not even thinking 2 seconds of it. Just top decking exactly what he needs when he needs it. But that's going to be you. That's going to be you if you have the right mindset. And that feeds into all the other tips and makes them so much easier, you know? Playing the right deck, sticking to it, investing more time and making the correct plays is all going to be so much easier when you're feeling good about it. So that is my fifth and final tip. Have fun. Have fun and enjoy yourself.